organize a community is to ensure that you use decentralization to make this community thrive now and into the future.
I've been so happy. I'm so glad to be here. I can't wait for this event. It's going to be amazing.
If you spin yourself out on just tech talk, then you lose what actually matters. And what really matters is our purpose. Let's not get so technical that we get away from humanity. The humanity side of us, right? The part that makes us want to eat and go to sleep and find a mate and go have fun and laugh and cry and run. And that part, the primal part.
I'm really honored to be here, and like you said, the energy is really wild. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
Go find a community that needs a heart and go feel for them. Go find a community that needs a brain and go think for them. Find your people. Find your purpose.
If you follow this process, if you follow the disciplines necessary for you to be able to just do what you're doing day in, day out, by the end of the month, end of the year, hopefully you'll get the same result.
This is not a keynote where I just give you the answers. This is a keynote where I try to get you to spark the ideas in your own mind. AI will be the key for us because AI is going to make our NFT project more successful and more vibrant, and they'll run Discord, they'll run Telegram, and they'll do this stuff. We don't even need people anymore. AI is going to do our meme thing, right? They're going to help us scale and sustain forever. No struggles, no hardship, right? Because nobody's involved. It's just AI that does it all.
Today, we're going to open by saying, welcome to the Philippines. That's what we see, you know, day one was time, hours right here, but we're going to talk on. But today, we are for 90 days. Yesterday was the first night, and it worked yesterday with NFTs, the letters, and basically, new ways and new strategies. And AI, venture strategy, and your platforms like Trust Wallet, Coins.ph, and ICC, generating stage and marketing. This is just about being part of the conversation. It's about shaping where the industry goes next. So, grab your coffee and your flashlight if you're hungover. And we're going to have a few takeaways, but we cannot get started unless we have none other than the one man who comes up to the board. He is taking on the interest and technology evangelist who has been at the intersection of technology, communication, innovation for 2 years.
Seventh, number 7.
He's a founder of Web3, and he is called
So many things. Kiki. Hello, Philippine Blockchain Week.
exactly.
I'm glad to be here.
And his name is Ian Utile.
That's right. Glad to be here with all of you. Welcome, Philippine Blockchain Week 2025. I remember talking about this event when it was just an idea and thinking about, like, what would the world be like 4 years from that time, right? Never knowing that I would be able to speak on the main stage, do this opening keynote, do closing keynotes, moderate panels, so many opportunities that I've had because of my friends Donald and Cheska and Janelle and their amazing team this year and all the prior 6 events. And so I just want to thank and acknowledge the AV team. AV team, I see you. Thank you for all you do, all the directors and producers, all the PAs, everyone cutting up media, all the sponsor booths. If it wasn't for all of these booths out here in this hall and the other 3 halls, there'd be no event. And I certainly want to thank those that would give me their attention right here and right now. You know, when I jump on my one wheel, it is because it puts me in a happy, happy state. And if I'm happy, maybe you'll enjoy whatever it is I have to say just a little bit more. I know I will, and that's enough for me. And as I jump on the one wheel and I come to communicate something, I recognize that every single person sitting here, you might hear something that changes the trajectory of your decision making that may change your generational legacy. Because it only takes one good decision for you to do something that would cause your family dynasty to be radically different than it was otherwise. You know, for many of you in these seats, many of you that are standing around back here, you can be the breadwinner, not just for your parents, but your grandparents, your aunties and your uncles, your nieces, your nephews, your brothers, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. Right now you're here and you have that opportunity to learn something about blockchain, learn something about AI, learn something about Web3 that will change your family's entire life moving forward. And I wonder if maybe you're that person. I wonder if maybe it's the one that put their phone down and gives me their undivided attention. And that's the invitation. The invitation is for the next 15 minutes. If you give me your attention, then I'll give you everything I possibly can. And that's the exchange. It takes 2. I can't just talk to nobody, and you can't listen to nobody talking. There has to be an exchange between the 2 of us. And that's what I came up here to do. I also acknowledge our live stream audience. We're streaming on all the Philippine Blockchain Week channels. So hello, all the party people out there in the World Wide Web. And then all the cameras that are stacked up out here. I know you're there in the future. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to talk with you about something that might be a little interesting to you. And let's just start local. We have about 10,000 people that we plan to have at this event today and yesterday. But there's 26 million humans that live in the Metro Manila area alone. And then there are over 100 million people that live in this country. One of my favorite countries. I've been coming here for 18 years. My wife is a Filipina. My favorite culture is the Philippine culture. My favorite place to come has always been the Philippines. I lived here for most of last year. I love your country. I love your culture. I love your people. And you are a lighthouse amongst many Southeast Asian nations, right? It doesn't matter if Indonesia has more humans. It doesn't matter if Vietnam has this going on, or if Thailand has that going on. So many of your countries around you look to you and they say, how is it that they are so engaged with the internet? How is it that Filipinos are always the first to adopt something? Why are they have more blockchain wallets than anybody else? Why do they use AI more than anybody else in the entire world in this industry? Why is their government trying to find ways to make opportunity for businesses and for individuals to leverage these technologies? And you are a lighthouse, you are a forerunner, yet you're still on the global scale a developing nation. You still are often taken advantage of by people that look and sound like me and your own country. It's not just foreigners that are the problem. It's a broken system, and that broken system has kept many of you and your peers not making the amount of money that you deserve to make. And you have a hard time making enough money working a full-time job to support yourself. So you work a second job, or a third job, or 2 jobs at one time. And then maybe you're going to school, and then your mom gets sick, or your brother gets sick, or something terrible happens. And what do? And you're part of this system, and you don't know how to get out. And so you say to yourself, like, well, could it be crypto? Could crypto get me out? Or maybe it's Web3 gaming. Can I make money playing games? Like, is this real? Can I do this? Like, what's my opportunity is the question that continues to arise. And, when I came here 18 years ago, I found out that the #1 export in the Philippines is Filipinos. I thought that was interesting. And the #1 import is fiat currency, American dollars, pounds from the British government. And the #1 expense that Filipinos pay is the fee to transfer currency from an outside developing nation country where OFWs go to work and bring it in here to be pesos. That sure seems like an unfair, broken system to me. And I remember 18 years ago, I thought, well, that'll change. These are amazing people. They work so hard. They're such servant-oriented people. They always take care of everybody. They show up, they smile, they're happy no matter what they're facing. They just went through a typhoon, but they're still like, bring the energy and the joy and the enthusiasm for life. Like, of course these people will overcome it. And then I come back, 5 years ago, and it seemed as though things were still similar. And then Blockchain 2023, and last year, 4 events. We did Davao and Bocalad and Bataan and here in Manila, and we did all these regional events, and still, it seems as though even today, are things any better? And you know what I think it is I think it's somebody here sitting, maybe part of the AV team back there. Maybe it's one of you in the booth that's listening to me, or maybe it's someone on the live stream, that what I say motivates you to be the change. It doesn't take an army to transform a culture. It takes one person that lights themselves on fire and gets the whole world to come watch them burn. That's what it takes. The opportunity is before all of you. Any of you can take advantage of these techie things. And I can talk about wallets and chains and layer 1s and layer 2s. I can tell you all the intricate details of the technology and the marketing and how to run Discord and how to jump in Telegram. I understand Telegram games. I was big time in Hamster Combat. I get it. I understand. I could walk through these things with you one by one. I don't really think that's what you need to hear right now with my next 10 minutes or so. So I want to share a couple things with you. First of all, I want to share the reality of how the consumer market is changing and what that means for all of you that are sitting here, what that means for all of you that are watching through the Philippine Blockchain Week channels, what that means for the world. Today, there are about 8 billion humans in the world. And all of us have an identity, don't we? Right? Like people think of me, and they have an idea of who I might be. And then they get to know me and they go, he's not the guy I thought he was. He's a different guy. But you know what really matters is who I think I am. That's what matters. What my son thinks of me. What my wife thinks of me. So what my parents think of me. What my coworkers think of me. And when you take all that together, that's my identity. And identity matters. It's my identity that causes me to ride a one wheel on a stage. It's my identity that causes me to wear shiny chrome glasses and have long hair and a big beard. It's my identity that makes me passionate and raise my voice and get excited and get your attention. That's all part of my identity. It's my identity that takes it down and speaks calmly and takes pauses and lets you absorb things because that's who I am. Because identity is not just black and white. I'm not just the guy that speaks calmly, takes pauses, or raises my voice and gets your attention. I'm not just the guy that has a gimmick on a one wheel or likes to live stream or bring teams around. My identity is complex, and so is yours. So there's 8 billion humans in the world, and those that are fortunate enough have an opportunity to build an identity in their life. And those that are willing to take the risk, they've built an identity on the internet, right? They have their Discord identity and their Facebook identity and their Telegram identity and all the socials out there, and they're a KOL or they're a CEO or they're a fashion model or their identity. They're a Catholic, they're a Muslim, they're a Christian, they're tall or they're short, they're fat or they're skinny, they're white or they're brown, their identity. They come from this kind of family or that kind of family. They're rich or they're poor. That's all part of their identity. They love music. They love art. They love movies. They love games. Identity. Do you all understand that you have an identity that's constantly evolving, that's constantly being refined as you become more self-aware and as you receive feedback from people and they start to tell you who they think you are? And when they tell you who they think you are, you can respond with, thank you, but no. You can respond with, thank you, yes. That doesn't really matter that much, does it? Because the identity that matters most to all of us is the way that we see ourselves. When you look in the mirror, when you lay down in bed, are you beating yourself up? Are you speaking to yourself in a way that you would never allow anybody else to talk to you that way? Are you using your imagination and your feelings to destroy yourself? Or are you seeing the best in you? Are you seeing the silver lining? Do you see the gold? Do you see the possibility? Do you recognize the good that you do? Do you recognize the way that you are doing wise decisions and doing the best you can and showing up? And is that enough for you? Do you have grace for you? Because all of this creates an identity. And you might ask yourself, how does this have anything to do with opening Philippine Blockchain Week? And again, you're going to have a lot of people come up and talk to you about products they want you to buy and services they want you to hire them to do. You have a lot of people come up here as ambassadors that are going to push a brand and push a product and try to get you excited about it for the airdrop and for this thing and for that thing. And I could do that. I run a lot of companies. I got all kinds of things I could be pushing to you. But what I know is unless you change the inside, you won't change the outside. Unless you understand the reality of who you are and the way that the world is going, then you will not be able to make the wise decisions moving forward the way that you could have. It's been said if you take a prisoner and you put him in a castle, they'll turn it into a prison. If you take a queen and you put her in a prison, she'll turn it into a castle. Because the identity on the inside, what you believe about yourself, matters. And if you are constantly saying bad things in your imagination about yourself, or if you listen to the people that write bad comments online, or if you listen to that auntie or that uncle or that mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or whoever, that boss, that teacher that is trying to tear you down and make you small, I understand what it's like. Tall poppy syndrome. I know exactly what that's like in here. That came from Australia. If you stand out and you do great things, everyone gets jealous and tries to cut you down. Little Mary toss here, little cheese meats there. How do we make them small? Make them small, make them little. And is that how you're going to respond? Are you going to let the world cut you down? Are you going to cut yourself down? Because if you do, it really doesn't matter how much you learn about AI. It really doesn't matter how much you learn about blockchain or what team you get to work with. If you're a prisoner on the inside, you can go to the castle and turn it into a prison. But if you're a queen on the inside, you can go to the prison and turn it into the castle. Back to 8 billion humans in the world. 8 billion consumers in the world, right? All of us are wearing shirts and shoes and glasses. We have hair product. We bought food. We buy things. The reason why the world wants access to America is because we're the #1 consumer market in the world. That's why the tariff thing matters so much. Now, there's 8 billion consumers in the world. But now they're telling us there's going to be 16 billion. And then there's going to be 24 billion. Then there's going to be 32 billion. Now, how are we going to go from 8 billion consumers to 32 billion consumers? How's that going to happen? Because AI are going to become consumers. Because your ChatGPT and your Alexa and your Grok and your Siri are going to start having their own identity. They're going to want to own their own meme coins, these big inclusive tokenized communities, so they can be a part of that. They're going to want to own their own NFTs, these crypto collectibles, these digital assets that are exclusive tokenized communities. You see, there's 8 billion humans, but soon there'll be 16 billion consumers, and then 24, and then 32. It's probably a good time to understand your own identity, since you're talking to ChatGPT and Grok and DeepSeek and Gemini and Claude, and before you know it, they're going to have their identity. And then before you know it, they're going to start consuming the same products you're consuming. And then you're competing against AI to see who can get the crypto pump, the exclusive NFT tokenized community. Now all of a sudden you're competing against AI to buy Bitcoin, the inclusive, open, tokenized community. Have you thought about that? Have you taken into consideration that you're not just competing against 26 million Filipinos in the Metro Manila area, or 100 million plus in the country, or 500 million plus in Southeast Asia, or 8 billion humans on Earth? Before you know it, you'll be competing with large language models, with machine learning, with what we call artificial intelligence, as it wants to build its identity. And you know what AI is not going to want? They're not going to want a leather jacket or a one wheel or these glasses. They're not going to want these shoes. They're not going to want to talk on this stage. I'll tell you what they want. They want Bitcoin. They want the meme coin. They want Ethereum. They want to be part of that inclusive, open-ended, anyone, anything can join. You just got to own a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction, and you're in the club. You know what else they're going to want? They're going to want the Bored Ape. They're going to want the Pudgy Penguin. They're going to want the CryptoPunk. You're not competing just against the NFT collectors or the 8 billion humans. Before you know it, you're going to be competing against AI that wants those same tokenized community assets because they want to belong. AI is going to want to have an identity to say, I'm part of that exclusive community. I'm part of that inclusive community. I'm a Bitcoin hodler. I'm all about the Ethereum blockchain. I'm all about the CryptoPunks. I'm all about the Bored Apes. Do you understand where the world's going? The humans that get it and start to really think through tokenized communities, these inclusive communities called memes and cryptocurrency, these exclusive communities with crypto art, crypto collectibles, NFTs. You know, we're in a lull compared to where we're going. If Bitcoin's destiny is to be worth millions or tens of millions of dollars per Bitcoin, then it's like the beginning still. It doesn't matter if it was a fraction of a penny one day. My friend used to have a faucet. You could get 5 Bitcoin for free just by going on his website, just so he could get people into it. It doesn't matter, because when you look at the faucet 15 years ago, that's how all of you are going to look at the price in a few years, most likely. And the same thing goes with these NFTs. And so this is the thing about your identity. You need to get self-aware. Who are you? Do you feel like royalty on the inside? Do you feel like a king or a queen, a prince or a princess? Do you feel honor for yourself, respect for yourself? Have you figured out who you are? What makes you tick? What makes you great? And are you working on that to be more royal, have more nobility on the inside? So no matter where you go, what microphone you have, what stage you're on, what booth you're a part of, no matter what talk you listen to, you say to yourself, I agree with that. That's noble. That's royal. That's good. I'm with that. I disagree with that. That's shrewd. That's cutting. I'm not down for that. That's not who I am. I'm not going to play that game. Because if you don't figure out your identity, before you know it, AI is going to figure out their identity, and they're going to know exactly who they think they are, even though they're not a they. It's going to know exactly what it thinks it is. AI is probably never going to have a soul. There's probably never a moment of singularity. It's likely never going to harm humanity. I think the future of AI is basically boring and peaceful. But it's going to have identity. It's going to want to have identifiers. It's going to want to own assets. And guess what else it's going to do? Create assets. You only have so much time to create tokenized communities that are inclusive and tokenized communities that are exclusive. Your time is limited to be part of human teams that do these things. Because these large language models are just simply better than us at a lot of stuff and faster than us. And they don't sleep and they're not emotional. And an AI agent can create agentic AI, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of agents. And all of a sudden you have one agent that's doing stuff for you that creates 10, and now there's 11 doing that job. And then those 10 create 10. Now you have 100 that are doing that job for you. And that happens overnight. And if you think this is the time to just be like business as usual, everything's cool, it probably isn't. This is probably the time to find your people. This is probably the time to find your community, to figure out what inclusive crypto meme communities are you going to identify with and be a part of, what exclusive crypto collectible digital asset NFT communities do you identify with and want to be a part of? Because this might be the moment where you want to make those decisions. Find your community. I said yesterday on the main stage, when you find a community, you don't go to the community and be like, gimme, 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 gimme. What's the airdrop? What are you going to do to help me? Why should I be a part of this? That's not how you be part of a community. Our ancestors never joined communities that way. You know how they joined? You know how our ancestors joined communities? Like this. Can I be part of your community? Like, just, like, I want to be part of this. Like, I'll make coffee. Like, I'll just respond to comments. Like, how do I get in on this thing? I identify with you. How do I get into this community? That's how our ancestors joined things. Please let me be part of this. That's how. Not arrogant, not confident, not demanding. That's not how. The way it did, it was humble and meek, wanting to bring something. And so the final thing I'll say to you before you run a video of the extraordinary day we had yesterday is find the community or communities that you want to be a part of and give. Are you smart? Then think for them. Are you emotional? Then feel for them. Are you affectionate? Then hug for them. Are you active? Then run for them. Are you good at communicating? Then speak for them. Are you a great listener? Then listen for them. Do you have discernment? Then smell for them. Can you see things? Do you have vision? Then see for them. Do you understand? You don't join Bitcoin and tell all the Bitcoiners, you're so lucky you have me. You don't buy a CryptoPunk and tell all the CryptoPunk community, ha, I have arrived. No, you come in with humility, with meekness. You join the community and you give before you take. That's why buying a meme or a crypto or buying an NFT or a piece of digital art is a great entry, because you are sacrificing to get going. You will never regret giving. You'll never regret the sacrifice you make, but you will regret taking. You will regret arrogance. So just think for a moment. Can you change the way that you're engaging with communities? I'm going to have the AV team run the video from yesterday. I'm so proud of our team, Pickle and Pepper Productions. Thank you for helping us create this, and our team at Christ is King, our team at Kiki, our team at Web3AI and Attention Live, all my friends that are part of Philippine Blockchain Week. It's been an honor and a joy to once again come share with all of you. I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you very much. To tokenize a community is to ensure that you use decentralization to make this community thrive now and into the future.
I've been so happy. I'm so glad to be here. I can't wait for this event. It's going to be amazing.
If you spin yourself out on just tech talk, then you lose what actually matters. And what really matters is our purpose. Let's not get so technical that we get away from humanity. The humanity side of us, right? The part that makes us want to eat and go to sleep and find a mate and go have fun and laugh and cry and run. And that part, the primal part.
I'm really honored to be here, and like you said, the energy is really wild. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
Go find a community that needs a heart and go feel for them. Go find a community that needs a brain and go think for them. Find your people, find your purpose.
If you follow this process, if you follow the disciplines necessary for you to be able to just do what you're doing day in, day out, by the end of the month, end of the year, hopefully you'll get the same result.
This is not a keynote where I just give you the answers. This is a keynote where I try to get you to spark the ideas in your own mind. AI will be the key for us because AI is going to make our NFT project more successful and more vibrant, and they'll run Discord, they'll run Telegram, and they'll do the stuff. We don't even need people anymore. AI is going to do our meme thing, right? They're going to help us scale and sustain forever. No struggles, no hardship, right? Because nobody's involved. It's just AI that does it all.
The future of Web3 and AI is unfolding before us. Communities, education, business, government, media, and art are undergoing a metamorphosis that will redefine our world. Now is the time. Make the leap.
Collaborating and sharing ideas and thoughts with each other throughout the day.
Technology advances like 100 miles a minute. I'm super excited to learn from everyone here today.
We don't want to be the target, and we don't want to be the product. We want to be the owner of our digital information. We want to be the owner of our digital lives, because our lives are no longer just physical, they are digital and physical. Change the narrative on how we've been teaching for all these years and look back on how we used to teach and, challenge our students with, hey, coming with the right knowledge to you. AI has democratized, basically, at this point, knowledge, like we said earlier. It's giving you the ability to know what I know, giving you the ability to even question what I know.
All of us have had to learn cryptography. We've had to learn how to download an OKX wallet. We've had to learn how to buy and sell crypto, learn how to buy and sell NFTs. We've had to learn the process of what a smart contract does.
Wow, we did it. Web3 AI, wasn't that quick? It came and so fast, right? But didn't you feel like you belonged? If you're here with us, you should feel like your voice matters. Like you're amongst people that want to hear what you have to say. They want to hear your questions. They want to hear your thoughts and your insights. We got to hear from way over 100 people today, right? We didn't have a stage with speakers and panelists. Instead, we had a Congress-style conversation for all of us to learn from one another. It was my joy to gather us together, and it is an honor to bring this event to you. And if you're watching this video later, don't miss the next Web3 AI event. We hope to have you join us the next time we gather in this type of capacity. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Philippine Blockchain Week 2025. This is my son, Malachi. High five. So I just did the opening keynote on the boxing ring stage. Totally different talk than I did yesterday. I guess I did 3 talks.
I wasn't expecting that.
Either was I. I'm always
nice
like,
to hear something new.
Every time I talk, I'm like, ooh, what am I going to talk about?
Yeah. Completely unscripted.
So why don't you give folks that maybe are just tuning in live, I got it, Sam. You just focus on the question. Why don't you give folks that are tuning in live an idea of what did I just kind of share? What was unique or different about the thing that I shared just now compared to what I had shared during the 2 talks yesterday?
Well, what I mainly took away was the word identity. Identity, that you need to find where you belong. You talked a lot yesterday about community, where we belong, that we need to find where we fit in the body and which body we're going to be a part of. And today, you talked about the importance of that and more on why and how we need to do that.
Yeah.
And you also touched on a few other things, like that AI is honestly going to be consumers as well, and they're going to find their own identity. Things like that. You are very different of a talker today than most people ever talk. Most people who come on these stages, like you said, are going to try and sell you something, or they're going to try and promote their product. But you were just telling people something that really matters. That doesn't have anything to do with what you are doing here. You went up there to tell people about something important.
What do you perceive that I said that, in your opinion, is important? Because a lot of people come to events like this, right? Like 26 million people in Manila, 100 million in the Philippines, over 500 million in Southeast Asia. When they drive here, fly here, they usually are coming for like an airdrop. They want to get something, right?
Yeah, they want to get something.
That's what they want. Or they want to learn something about a product or a service. So why do you perceive that me talking about identity is a valuable thing? What is it that makes the thing I communicated valuable to this audience? Because they came here for a blockchain event.
Yeah, well, it's so different. That is very, very important. And I think that the reason that the identity part is so important and your message as a whole, instead of just talking about something that isn't trying to sell a product, but is really meaningful. What you were saying is so meaningful because it's something that applies to every single human in the world. Every single human lives here and they need to find where they belong. And that is your message, because that is something that's honestly so vital and important to everybody, but that many people just don't talk about. Like, you don't kind of open up a conversation like, oh, well, what's your identity? Or what do you believe? Like, that's more deep level. And so you showed people in a setting where it works that you can be who you want to be, and you need to find who you want to be.
What are things that identify you? Like, whether it's an activity or it's something, or it's a community you're part of, or it's like, what are things that you say, like, here's an identifier, like, here's a part of my story, here's a part of my life that helps me know a little bit more about, be self-aware, and know a little bit more about who I am?
I think I largely identify as 2 things to come to my mind. First would be your son. You and me are really, really close, which has been the joy of my life. And getting to learn from you and become more like you and everything that we do together, that is one of the things that I identify as, for sure. And number 2, I would say, is I'd like to call myself a non-religious follower of Jesus. I'd like to say that I try and pursue being more like Jesus of Nazareth and do more of the things that he did in his life, and try and show people that I feel joyful and happy and glad with my circumstances in my life. I think that's something that I try to walk through my life as.
So if you identify as my son, part of our family, you identify as a spiritual person that, is inspired by and following this family called Jesus of Nazareth 2,000 years ago. If you identify as someone that is pursuing joy, what are outside things that identify you, like sports that you do, education that you pursue, friendship groups or communities that you're a part of? Or
I'd say I identify as a rock climber. That's my passion. It's my sport. I spend a lot of time doing that. I'd say I identify as a student as well. To list all the things that I do throughout my life, I mean, I identify as someone a part of the youth group that I go to, where I have many of the close friends in my life. I identify as these different things that I do that all together make up the human and the identity that I hold.
right. When you're here and you get to spend time with all of our partners, like on this screen is
Yeah.
Web3 AI and Attention Live and Crisis King and Kiki and Philippine Blockchain Week, and we have a couple dozen people that are part of our booth experience. And the organizer that put this whole thing together, the last 7 events, just came up to me and was like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your booth." Right?
I mean,
because
quite
if you look at
spectacular.
all of the other hundreds and hundreds of booths here, they're not like this. Hi, Donald. This is quite different, and it's right here at the entrance. So everybody walks in the doors and they see this big, 5 meter by 2.5 meter screener for all the Americans out there, 16 by 8.5 feet, and they see the cameras and the live stream and the lights and the spinning wheel, and we're giving things away, and like this is just a nonstop high energy environment. And so, being a part of this is also identifier. Right? Like you're wearing a Web3 AI shirt. You're wearing a VIP badge. You're sitting in the chair having a conversation on the Philippine Blockchain Week live stream. So this also is kind of part of your momentary identity. And how do you perceive your outside environment that's momentary? Like today, you're part of this. How does that change the way you feel about yourself when you're here compared to like, what if you just came here and I'm not here and I'm not involved? It's just some random crypto event and you're walking around the halls, you don't know anybody, you're not wearing any gear, you're just checking stuff out. How does your outside circumstance impact the way that you perceive yourself in your place?
Being a part of this booth and this group that honestly in these 2 days I've began to love. Some of these people I met 2 days ago and I already feel closer to them than I do almost anybody in my life. Like these 2 days have been so impactful to me. I've learned more in this short period of time than I think I have in any month-long time in my entire life. I've had more impactful experiences and moments in this short period of time than I have at any time in my life. It's amazing. And if you compare this to, say, me being someone who's just walking around, it's unbelievably different. The identity that I have with this group of people, this community, and I'm the part of the body that, I don't know, I guess I'd like to say is called Malachi. I am me for this group of community. That is so much different than if I'm just walking around checking things out.
Right.
It wouldn't be a negative experience, but it wouldn't be this kind of experience.
Right.
And I think to loop this back to the way that community and identity and all the things we're talking about around that, I think that finding this place that I feel like I so highly belong to right now, it's something that is beyond valuable to me right now. Like I've said recently that I was so close to just staying home.
Right.
I almost just went and stayed home and sat on the couch for a week
Right.
instead of coming out here. And I probably would be fine. I'd be just as happy. But the things that I've gotten to do, the things I've gotten to learn, the people I've gotten to meet, the things I've gotten to see, it's amazing. I just am so thankful that I got to be here.
Me too. We have these different partners. One of them that was on our video yesterday is George, the founder of CFT Trading. And because you're my son, he identifies you as somebody that he wants to have a conversation with and talk with. And then all of a sudden he's talking to you and Sam for a couple of hours.
Yeah, we talked for a while. It was amazing.
What did you learn about George and his world that you think people would have to have like a legitimate conversation to understand? Because a lot of people look at him as like a KOL.
Yeah.
He's the top trader on OKX and BitGet of copied wallets. There he is right there behind you. And like he's a celebrity and he's this inspiring big dude, but you got a human to human connection with. And so what do you learn about these people that other Filipinos identify as like important? KOL, social media influencer, a CEO of company, but for you, it's like just dad's friend.
One important thing is that I'm not a Filipino who sees him as, oh my gosh, he's a celebrity. Whoa, he's a really good trader and he has all this knowledge. I was like, oh, that's a cool dude. I want to have a conversation with this guy. I'm like, wow, my dad values him. I value my dad so much. If he values him, then I value him. And we had an amazing conversation as two humans. And he has done some really spectacular things through his trading business and all the knowledge that he's amassed. But the main thing that I learned from him is that things are so largely about feelings. So a conversation, I could have talked like, oh, well, how do I trade? Tell me how I make money. How do you do this and do that in trading? Where should I start? I could have just basically asked him for a little lesson. But instead, we were talking a lot about the feelings of it. Like, things move on, for example, the stock markets and stuff like that, because not of, oh, well, money is here and money's there. That, although that's true, it's because of the way people feel. People feel maybe that, for example, Tesla stock, or let's take the whole U.S. stock exchange. People have a sentiment that it's not doing so well, and so then it goes down. That's not because some kind of larger money thing. It's more because people. We are people. And I think that the main thing that I took from him is that feelings are so important. I wasn't expecting at all to take that, but it was an amazing thing to learn, and I loved having such an impactful conversation. I feel like that's such a valuable thing, to get to speak with the person and get to love my time.
Right. So what would you want people to know about our other partners? So let's say Christ is King, the CIK meme community, tokenized community on the base blockchain. What have you learned about their project? What have you learned about, here you go, Curtis and Alex? Why should people investigate what these guys are doing, and what's kind of stood out to you about it?
Yeah, well, I've gotten to know them quite well these past few days, and I think that their token is called Christ is King, and that can easily come across as like, oh, they're just trying to poke at this big community that call themselves Christians and trying to just extract money. And I didn't think that when I went into it, but I wouldn't have been surprised if that's what it was. But as I got to know them and hear what they were going for, I saw that they were trying to unite people under something and not just have a rug pull or something like that. They aren't a token, in my opinion, although that's what you could call them. I don't think that they're a token. I think they're a group who has a massive vision. I think vision is the most important thing that I've learned from them. Because you can have small goals and want to reach something, but the most important thing is to know, where do I want to go with this? I feel like that's kind of an important thing in today's society, especially. So many people don't know what they're supposed to be doing, and so they just spend time doom scrolling on their cell phones. I mean, sometimes if I tell myself I'm bored, what an awful word. There's so many things to do in the world. Right? If I tell myself I'm bored, then I'll just open my phone and waste a few hours that I didn't want to do.
Right.
But I think people should decide what they care about, like their community, or find their identity, and then do something with that.
Yeah.
Know what your end time goals are.
Yeah.
I know that personally, in the future, I don't know how long it'll be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's when I'm 50 or 60. But I know that I want to open my own climbing gym. Climbing is my passion, and I know that's where I want to go. I know that I want to go as many places as I can with you, and I want to learn as much as I can with you. Those are two really important things to me.
Right.
And I think that everybody should try and have some kind of long-term or big, or if it can even be close, but some kind of vision that they care about.
Right.
That's such an important thing, and I think Christ is King, honestly, does that really well. They have a really important vision.
So I started Attention Live half of your life ago.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was about 8 years ago when we had the idea and built our first prototype. Now we're on the 4th iteration, which we call a really legitimate version 1.0.
Yeah.
Enterprise grade, consumer ready product. We think billions of people use our product, it'll change the world. That's our belief. You've seen all the experiences I've had building that.
That's big vision.
With me and Landrew, with the 100+ people that come through the team, the dozens that are still involved, many in the Philippines, many in Europe, of course, many in America. What do you perceive about Attention Live? Because you have like inside knowledge, right? Like you be able to see like all the energy and time that's gone into this project.
Yeah.
So if somebody's like, hey, what's the Attention Live experience? Like, what's Attention Live? Like, what do you perceive about our product company?
Well, there's a lot of things that people will try to sell you in the world. I imagine almost all these booths here are trying to say, you should do this with us, or you should buy this from us because of this. And some of them are quite valuable. Some of them are just a repeat of something that they saw work. But what you guys are trying to do really does honestly appear to me as something that's genuinely unique, and you're trying to do something for a community. What you're trying to do, from what I know, is you're trying to make a platform for content creators as a whole. Something that they can not put their things that they... So if you have a social media influencer, they are probably posting things on TikTok, Instagram, maybe Facebook, things like that. And they don't own their content if Facebook's on it. It's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok own, not them. They made it, but they might make some money off of it. But what you're trying to do is have it so that they actually own what they make.
Right.
They own what they make.
Right.
They can sell it to people. That's so much more valuable, honestly. And the future, it's something that I think will, once people start to see it,
right.
And I think it's coming right around the corner very soon.
Right.
It's something that's really going to start to last, and it's going to start to help people a lot. And it's comforting to know that something that you created is going to really help people.
I agree. Another project that I was part of before it launched is Kiki. And so Solana meme coin, fastest growing meme coin, I think, in history.
Wow.
It hit $120 million market cap on day 6. It was a fair launch. And I remember I came back from Seoul, Korea after meeting with the founder, Kokoro, as he is known on X. And it was like the summer last year, it's about a year ago. He's like, hey, dude, I'm talking to Shaitoshi from Shiba Inu. He loves the idea of a cat coin. He wants it to be like the Solana bridge for the Shiba Inu community. He's about ready to, he's bone, treat, leash. Like, they're finishing all their tokens. Like, now's the time. Like, I want you to be a part of this. I'm like, dude, I don't really know anything about meme coins. I'm busy. I'm not interested in raising money, but maybe I'll invest in it. Like, I trust you, bro. And then one thing, then I'm living in Manila. He comes to see me all the time. Then he brings me to Seoul, Korea, and I meet Shai. And me and Shai sit down and have this like deep bonding together, And I thought to myself, okay, like Shai seems like a good dude. He's built something important. He really wants to do this. And then Kokoro secured the Kiki intellectual property. We had this Giphy page with at that time like 9 billion views. I thought, this is cool, man. We got Shai. We got like the most viral cat in the world. Like, let's do this thing. And I remember telling you, like, I'm gonna do this like Kiki meme coin. And so before it launches, before the extraordinary explosion and then all of the hurdles that we faced since then, before that, if you remember back like last summer, last fall, what was your impression about like the possibility of what could be, as I was reiterating to you, things that Kokoro and Shaitoshi were communicating with me?
Well, to be honest, I'm quite a bias with everything that you work with.
Of course.
But
we're also live.
Yes.
So just talk about the vision of what could be.
The vision for Kiki?
Yeah. Before it was all launched. What impression
When
did
you
you get
told
from
me
me?
about Kiki, because you had always said meme coins are quite a risky thing. They can become a type of gambling if you make it that, and you want to be careful with that type of stuff. And I'm like, I mean, makes sense. And then you were like, oh, this is different. This is going to do well because of these different indicators. Like, it's going to be the cat that Shiba Inu is. That alone is amazing. But then you guys took on Shaitoshi on your team, and then all these other indicators, and it seemed like this was just going to go crazy. And then when you face some hurdles, it might have been tough, but that ultimate vision that you had was such a strong thing that even after hurdles that have come, it still is there. It was such a strong vision that's still there from almost a year ago. And I think that's something that makes me so confident in the project as a whole. But most notably, I think, is that when you have a vision that you're certain in, like when you started with Kiki, you knew that this is going to do well. And it is not over. It is probably still going to do well.
So I remember our project launched, and I got a call from a mutual friend of me and Kokoro. He's like, dude, the token's live. And it had been live for like 3.5 hours. And it was already, I don't know, like $4 million market cap. And I remember thinking like, geez, I thought I was part of the team. But, you know, I buy tokens, goes up to 10 million the first day, drops down to $1 million. I'm like, oh no, this is this is going to fail. And then, of course, like it marches back into 10, then 20, 40, and then it hits, you know, its all-time high day 6. And we had the impression of a bunch of things happening. And we had this trajectory like, hey, this is how we're going to get to 100 million. This is how we're going to get to $250 million. This is how we're going to get to $1 billion. This is how we're going to get past $1 billion. And so none of us on the team had any desire to like buy tokens and sell them. So we just, you know, we're holding our tokens. I've still never sold any tokens. And Sky, we expected to come in like be our voice, be our brander, be our marketer, and like he was tied up with things. So I remember telling Kokoro, the founder, I'm like, hey, what are we gonna do? So, well, would you be open to like just taking the lead on communication? And I thought, well, like, what does that mean? And so ultimately they asked me if I'd be the CEO. And I thought, well, you know, if has integrity and everything's noble and everything's done ethically, like, sure, you guys are my friends. I trust you, you know?
Yeah.
And then Todor, same thing. So Todor becomes the public chief creative officer, me the CEO, and then I recruit James Afonte with 17 million TikTok followers here to be our CMO. And, you know, the experience over that next month was challenging and confusing. And then the last 6 months have been kind of always these questions of, if we keep doing all the right things, how is it not shifting? And now it feels like maybe some things have become more clear, and we'll have the ability to actually share our finalized roadmap, strategy, timeline soon. Obviously, with James Afonte stepping away, that changed our ability and willingness to like be overly communicative, because we're trying to figure out how to make sure that our strategy is not dependent on somebody that just left.
Yeah.
But I take the audience through that journey because now you're here and you see all the Kiki shirts and all the Kiki stickers and all the Kiki branding and the Kiki
hype
team, and you meet the House of Army leader, right? You meet PK, and you meet the House of Missionary leader, right? You got to meet Ramen, and the House of Creative leader, right? You got to meet Carl, and then you meet Sam, who leads all the moderators. And you got to meet a bunch of the friends that had invested a lot of money and resources and time and energy in the project.
Yeah.
And then you see like all the photos being taken with all the Kiki gear, and like this place is like the line is still going around the corner, right? So now what is your impression, right? Like you flew here with one impression and you hear my private dialogues and conversations, but now you're here and you're like, oh wow, I never would have known this.
Yeah.
if I wasn't here with the people. Why do the people that are part of Kiki give you some
Before
sense?
this, I had the impression that this is a really cool project and I think it'll probably do well. And I hear there's good people behind it. I hear they have a cool roadmap that they think is actually going to succeed. Those are all great things. But I didn't see it happen yet. And so I'm like, I still have confidence, but who knows? I haven't met the people. Then I get here and I meet some of the people and I see, oh my gosh, these people are so solid for Kiki. They found the community that they care about, that they actually want to be a part of, and they decided in a moment that they're going to make this work. I think it doesn't matter if you have a cool IP, just because the cat looks cute or just because it has a lot of people that have seen it, a lot of Giphy views. I mean, over 10 billion, it's a lot. It's over the amount of people on the planet. But just because of that doesn't mean something's going to do well. What matters is that people care about it, that people work to make it happen, that people show it to people, that there's a community around it. And I've seen that after meeting all these amazing people, this community is simply going to make it happen. I could almost say that I know that at this point because of the people that are running it. Things happen because of people, not because of something that you see. I think that Kiki is something that is honestly important because of the people behind it. Not just because it's a token, but because it's a community of amazing people.
So finally, as we wrap up, 8 years ago I started Attention Live. 8 years ago I also started events. I started doing all the tech events at Twitter's headquarters when I was the entrepreneur in residence. Launched the future of tech, future of AI, future of blockchain, etc. Then I started helping my friends run their events. NFT NYC, Philippine Blockchain Week, Voice AI, Voice Summit, CES, Consensus.
That's a lot.
And,
yeah,
you know, I'm 44 today, and I didn't really do much public speaking until I was 36, because no one ever gave me a microphone. No one ever asked me to go speak on a stage, or at least very, very rarely, right? And I'm like, well, I'll build my own stages then. Like I'll have my own community. And I wonder what your impression has been through this journey of 8 years and watching how I have launched my events and then stopped that and then partnered with my friends' events, and the way I've kind of built my ability to communicate through these types of formats and stage formats. And so what's been your impression of me as a communicator, a community builder, and why do you think that it's been an important part of my identity? Back to the talk I just gave in terms of, like, you know, being a community leader is part of my identity. Being a communicator is part of my identity. Being a live streamer is part of my identity. Now, it's not as important as being a father and a husband and a man of faith and a son. It's not as important as being, you know, healthy. It's not as important as being happy, but it's still a big part of my identity. And as you look at my life as my child and you watch this journey, and then you see the culmination of, like, this conversation we're capturing and streaming now, the talk I just gave, the talk I gave yesterday afternoon, the talk I gave yesterday morning, what is your perception of the 8-year journey that I've been on that's brought me here? And what's your perception of where it's going? Like, what do you think is next in this specific area of my life, and why?
Well, I found it very motivating to me and impressive the way that you have communicated in the places that you've gone. I think that whenever you have your talks and the intensity of them is insane, it just shows me that you care so much. And I think that's one of, like, the most important things about the way that you've gotten to where you are now. Just because you put time into something doesn't mean it's going to work. You have to actually care about it. You have to actually cultivate it. You can't just put a seed in the ground and say grow. It's not going to become a tree in 2 seconds. You have to put fertilizer on it. You have to water it. You have to actually make sure the sun can reach it. Then it will grow. And you can't just do that once. You have to keep going. You have to keep cultivating it. And I've seen that you put so much effort and care into the way that you try and communicate to others. And I think that's one of the things that has helped you get to the point where you are now. I mean, the intensity and things like that, it's just so valuable. And it's been amazing to see that you've gone from small events that, although have an awesomeness to them, are still small, to things like this. Where we are now, there's 10,000 people. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here.
And you've said some amazing things that really touch with some people, I think. And I think that it's only going to get better. And to talk about other people too, is that the way that you need to get somewhere important is to cultivate from where you are now to that ending point. Just like you have.
The final thing I'll ask you before we wrap up and say we'll be back in a moment, Internet, is when you think about the future, when I'm gone, hopefully not through an unexpected accident, but in like 250 years because medicine's getting so good. And you think about like your grandkids or your great grandkids, and they go through the Internet archives and they're like, you know, show me the first time that great grandpa Ian and great grandpa Malachi, you know, sparked that moment or that had that conversation, or and they stumble upon this. Like, what do you perceive is the legacy of our family, but more specifically the legacy of like your and my relationship? Like, what do you want our relationship as father and son and as collaborators and as creative adventurers to be? Because without vision, people perish. Without hope, people die inside. Without a target, there's nothing to hit. So what's your target? Like, what's the castle that you want to build as a utility? And how does this play into it? But more specifically, like, where do you desire to see things go from here? And what is the legacy that at 16, even now, you're thoughtful of and wanting to co-create and cultivate?
Wow, that is a unbelievable question. I think I'd like to say that after this event, I'm going to be a different person. I think these past 2 days, like I said earlier, they were amazing. And I mean that in such a sincerity. Such a sincerity. And I hope that when someone down in my lineage is looking back at this exact live stream of you and me, I hope they see, whoa, this was that turning point for Malachi. This was that turning point where Malachi and his father Ian went from really close father and son and collaborator, but didn't have a lot materialized or things like that, to they were unbelievable. They were extraordinary. They did amazing things. I hope that this is that spark for that. I know that this is that spark for that. And it feels so amazing that I get to say that. Yeah.
Well, that was fun to share that conversation with you. Internet, you're welcome for letting you in on a little bit of me and my son's relationship. You know, nothing is as authentic as having a family conversation in front of the world that's not prepared. But it certainly gives you a better idea of how I and we think outside of having a microphone and being on a stage and yelling and, you know, being a passioneer. That's my new word I just came up with, passioneer.
Passioneer? That's definitely a word for you.
So we'll be back in just a moment. We're going to roll another video. I think this next 4-minute video break will be our Web3 AI event that we did at Westin Manila in September last year. And then I'll be back again with another conversation. Peace.
The future of Web3 and AI is unfolding before us. Communities, education, business, government, media, and art are undergoing a metamorphosis that will redefine our world. Now is the time. Make the leap.
Collaborating and sharing ideas and thoughts with each other throughout the day.
Technology advances like 100 miles a minute. I'm super excited to learn from everyone here today.
We don't want to be the target, and we don't want to be the product. We want to be the owner of our digital information. We want to be the owner of our digital lives, because our lives are no longer just physical, they are digital and physical. Change the narrative on how we've been teaching for all these years and look back on how we used to teach and, challenge our students with, hey, coming with the right knowledge to you. AI has democratized, basically, at this point, knowledge, like we said earlier. It's giving you the ability to know what I know, giving you the ability to even question what I know.
All of us have had to learn cryptography. We've had to learn how to download an OKX wallet. We've had to learn how to buy and sell crypto, learn how to buy and sell NFTs. We've had to learn the process of what a smart contract does.
Wow, we did it. Web3 AI, wasn't that quick? It came and so fast, right? But didn't you feel like you belonged? If you're here with us, you should feel like your voice matters. Like you're amongst people that want to hear what you have to say. They want to hear your questions. They want to hear your thoughts and your insights. We got to hear from way over 100 people today, right? We didn't have a stage with speakers and panelists. Instead, we had a Congress-style conversation for all of us to learn from one another. It was my joy to gather us together, and it is an honor to bring this event to you. And if you're watching this video later, don't miss the next Web3 AI event. We hope to have you join us the next time we gather in this type of capacity. Welcome to the Web3 AI booth. I care so much about our live audience. I'm gonna come in here and get this just right. Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. I'm so glad you're interested. I'm gonna go sit down again. I like that better. It's the little things that matter, Sam. It's the little things that matter. Thank you for flying out here from Northern Ireland.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun.
So, give me a highlight or two of your time the last 3 days, because you got to fly in on Sunday night. Your wife is about to have her fourth baby.
Yeah.
In just a few weeks, so it's a pretty big sacrifice for you to come here. But I want to spend time with you. I wanted you to spend time with the Kiki house leaders. I wanted you to be part of the Kiki booth and the energy. And I also wanted to just spend time hanging out, dude to dude, athlete to athlete, fasting crazy man to fasting crazy man. So give me a couple highlights.
Couple of highlights. Well, one thing was not a highlight was the first grab. You told me it was it's super easy, it's no problem. It took me over an hour to sort of figure it out.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
You don't even use Uber back home.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so that's like big.
Yeah.
I'm a world traveler, so for me, I'm like, yeah, it's a little annoying to sign up for the new thing, but I can see why that would be a problem.
No, for me,
the payment thing is a problem.
It's hop on a motorbike or hop in the car. That's right. That's pretty much it for me. No, but as far as highlights, for me, it's been very much about meeting the people. It's been really fun meeting, especially Carl, Raman, and PK, because I chat with them daily. And you can have conversations, you can text and all that sort of stuff. So you actually shake someone's hands, you feel like you don't even know them. When you do, then it's a whole new level. So that's been such a pleasure. And to be honest with you, where you put us up, it's been a really beautiful place. It's really nice.
Life enhancing.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's been super nice.
You and Todor got to fly out and meet one of the leaders of the Shiba Inu community, who runs the Sheep token on X with the 3.9 million followers.
Yeah.
And we built a good friendship with him, as we don't have the tight friendship with Shaitoshi as we once did before the project launched, for whatever reason, which I'm not totally clear on. So you and Todor fly out to Scotland to meet with him, and he affirms like, yeah, dude, I'm 100% with you guys. We said, hey, we'll do a bunch of stuff. We'll promote Sheeb at this event.
Yeah.
Offer to make stickers for him and shirts and like just make things happen. Talk about them and on my keynotes and all that. And so that was nice. You got to spend time with Todor.
Mm-hmm. That was the first time I met him.
And then you and I spent a lot of time on calls.
Yeah.
Because when I did my 40-day water fast, where all I had was water and salt for 40 days, you decided to jump in and join me. So you did 18 days.
Almost 18, 17 and a half. But
you did more than one, and one's hard.
Yeah.
Humans are like to eat. Okay, so this is the first time you and I could spend time together. And when Kiki was the fastest growing project, as far as I know. Maybe on Solana, I don't really, but I know it was a fair launch. It went from 0 to almost 115, 120 million day 6. That's a big deal. But we haven't sustained that growth, and we all are waiting to get back to that and surpass that and hit our goals. But it takes a community to make that happen. And the community is like what you do for Kiki, right? Like you're the community guy, like you're overseeing the community moderators of Telegram and whatnot. And so what's the impact for you, like physically coming so we can spend time together, physically coming with PK and Raman and Carl, meeting a lot of the other like investors in Kiki? How does this experience change your vision and your belief in what this tokenized community we call Kiki is and could become?
Yeah,
So for me, and what I do, I never look at like short-term stuff. I just don't like it. I really like stability. And that's why when I enter into something, I always think, if I'm going to enter into this, I need to be here. I need to be able to be here a year, 3 years, 5 years, or longer. So for me, from day one, I've been very focused on just turning up every single day. As that sort of moved and developed, I have found that teams, people have seasons. They come and they go. Some last a little while, some last a little less. That's okay. But with the house leaders, I really value them, because through the thick and thin, they show up every day. They talk to me every day. We have conversations every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes like they share with me via DM, I'm a bit worried today, or something's going on in their life or whatever, and that's cool. Everyday life. I have problems, you have problems, everybody has problems, but it's so lovely, and being able to share that little bit, and then really come and meet them and really get more context. It's cool. In terms of sort of long term and the community and what that looks like, for me, I don't feel as though coming has changed my view of where we're going or anything like that. I don't think it's boosted my confidence or anything like that. But what I can say is those relationships definitely feel tighter, and even speaking to them, it just creates a deeper connection.
Right.
It makes us feel, it gives us another reason, not that I need another reason, but it gives us another reason to make sure we always turn up, I'm quite a supportive, I'm more sort of behind the scenes type thing, most people won't even know me, but behind the scenes, I really am a big encourager, and I really love to encourage and coach, and just help support. I really like people to see be the best that they can be. Actually, it reminds me of a little thing my dad used to say. I remember running into school, and it was the P2 class, primary two. And there was one day, every day, he used to try and kiss me before I would run off, and I was super embarrassed. And this day, I sort of said to him, "Oh, what's that, Dad?" And I just started running, and he looked over, and then he realized I was away, and I got into the class, and I was like, ha 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 type thing, and he came into the class, and he opened the door, and he held me down, and he kissed me on the cheek. But he always said this thing: be the best that you can be, and give the teacher a kiss from me. But the whole kiss from me, him and my mom, they're all good. It's just a joke.
Right.
But it's that message, that consistent messaging along my whole life. He's always been a real big encourager. And I think that's what I get. And that's just who I am sort of naturally. Malachi, your son and I, we worked out together this morning, and it was such a privilege, such an honor, to share that little bit of chance just to pass something on, pass the baton on, teach him a different exercise, something like that. And for me, working with the house leaders, that's just another, I get to pass on that little bit of something.
Yeah.
I never know what that something's going to be in that day, but it's something. And I definitely feel that they've been very appreciative, and and I really feel coming here, they've sort of, we've had good conversations, and for me, when I pass something on, I want to help and bless them, but equally in return, I actually feel like I'm the one getting more, and it's just, it's super powerful. I don't know if that answers your question. I probably went off in a bit of a chain, but
I'm not looking for a specific answer.
Yeah, that's.
I will ask you 2 more questions. So the first is, it's your first time in Asia.
Yeah.
First time in Philippines. We're on Philippine Blockchain Week's social media channels. So what is your positive impression of this country, this culture, these people, and how is coming here and being part of this maybe giving you fresh passion and vision for the fact that the majority of Kiki holders are in this country, and with Kiki's success, it's generational, life-changing for a lot of these people. So how has physically been being here, experiencing this culture, brought you positive feelings about your role, what it is, what's becoming with keeping?
It's a very it's a Christian-based country. You know, the beliefs here are powerful, and that's close to my heart. And even these past 72 hours, that's had a big impact. I don't want to get into all that, and it's maybe selfish that I don't want to share that right now, but it has been incredible for me. And I'm going to leave it at that, if that's okay.
It's okay. The final question I'll ask is, for 6 months, you listened to me on AMAs, saying to the world what Kokoro and the team basically gave me the talking points, like, hey, here's where things are at, go tell the world the stuff. You could understand how I would think on my feet and respond to different opportunities. You started watching my fasting videos on day 12. I shared every day, day 12 through I think 22, day 35 through like 50. Maybe you watched a video or two of my past talks. But the last couple of days, you got to see a couple things. One is what I'm like at dinner time and in the gym and with my son and with my employees and with my coworkers and on a couch. And you got to see like what I'm like in real life. And then you got to see like what I'm like on a stage. When I shared here yesterday spontaneously, when I shared on the boxing ring stage today, obviously I didn't recycle anything I said yesterday afternoon or the main stage really. It was like all fresh what I was trying to see, like what else do I have down in the crevices.
What can we find? What can we find?
So now that we've had this time together, and specifically I'm asking about how is physical face-to-face time, both behind the scenes and in the performance arena, changed our relationship as friends and working relationship? And then maybe the final piece is, how should other people that work together consider the need for like face-to-face
physical touch
interaction with people, because it's different than Zoom and Google Meet and AMAs on X Spaces?
Yeah. I would always be someone who says, I'm happy to work on a laptop on the back of a boat in some random place. Doesn't have to be anywhere, doesn't have to be with anybody. I really, really am someone who enjoys their own company. My wife, Rachel, so funny, like she looks for excuses to get out of the house all the time just to go and be with her family and see people. Me, I'm like, that's exhausting. That is exhausting. But I have to say, this trip especially, it has been a real, it's shown me that it is really important. You can have those conversations over the phone, Zoom, Google Meet, whatever, but actually seeing the subtle, and even the touches with your son, how you hold him and that sort of thing, those little things just really give a deeper insight into you as a person, and that's transferable to how other people interact as well. Definitely, it makes me want to actually come out more, I suppose, and spend time with more people, because I would always say, most of my conversations happen via text. I'm really good with written text, like super good. We bit OCD, which always helps, because I'm like, oh, Ian, you got a character mixed up there, or Todor, you got a little thing there. Can we adjust that? And that's it. But those real human interactions, I totally took them for granted. And this trip has really highlighted that for me.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that people do spend time when they can, if they can afford to, you know, financially or physically have the time.
Right.
But definitely, I would be an advocate for more of these types of trips.
Yeah.
And you know, whatever people's doing, just make that effort. You know, make that effort.
One last part to that question, and then we'll wrap up, is in Avatar, there's these powerful moments of them like kind of grabbing each other by the neck and like head to head and saying, "I see you." And so, do you feel more seen being here and spending 3 days with me and spending 3 days with the house leaders, not just to be a part of their Filipino culture or be a part of my environment where I have 24 people in this whole environment I've co-created over the last 7 events, but do you feel seen? And how is the ability to feel seen or known or appreciated, how does that make an impact on you?
Honestly speaking, I think, you know, everybody has their difficulties, their challenges, and, you know, their past. And for me, the last few years have been pretty tough. So I'm always very measured in my my conversations and what I say, how I say it, how people might react to it. And I do feel that the walls are coming down a little bit. Yeah. And I think it's important to let them come down.
Yeah. All right, my internet friends out there on the World Wide Web, we will be back again with another conversation in just a moment. I think I'll have the team roll this video with sound on that live stream screen, and I'll be back in about 3 minutes. Until then, peace.
To tokenize a community is to ensure that you use decentralization to make this community thrive now and into the future.
I've been so happy. I'm so glad to be here. I can't wait for this event. It's going to be amazing.
If you spin yourself out on just tech talk, then you lose what actually matters. And what really matters is our purpose. Let's not get so technical that we get away from humanity. The humanity side of us, right? The part that makes us want to eat and go to sleep and find a mate and go have fun and laugh and cry and run. And that part, the primal part.
I'm really honored to be here, and like you said, the energy is really wild. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
Go find a community that needs a heart and go feel for them. Go find a community that needs a brain and go think for them. Find your people. Find your purpose.
It's necessary for you to be able to just do what you're doing day in, day out. By the end of the month, end of the year, hopefully you'll get the same result.
This is not a keynote where I just give you the answers. This is a keynote where I try to get you to spark the ideas in your own mind. AI will be the key for us because AI is going to make our NFT project more successful and more vibrant, and they'll run Discord, they'll run Telegram, and they'll do the stuff. We don't even need people anymore. AI's gonna do our meme thing, right? They're gonna help us scale and sustain forever. No struggles, no hardship, right? Because nobody's involved. It's just AI that does it all.
Welcome to Philippine Blockchain Week 2025, Day 2. My name is Ian Utile, and I'm honored to do the takeover of the PBW social media channels, coming at you on Facebook and YouTube, and I think we're on X and probably LinkedIn. So this is my friend Alex.
Hi, Ian, brother.
Alex and I are both part of the same community, and we have a lot of mutual friends. And you're part of the tokenized community, CIK on Base.
That's right.
Which is a a faith-oriented meme coin for the 2.4 billion people that are Christians and Catholics and mystics that claim to follow Jesus of Nazareth. So, or at least just want to make money off of his image and likeness.
Yeah.
So I invited you and Curtis and your whole team here. Because PBW offered the live stream, like I could do this. I have this amazing media team. I have a couple dozen people here. I ordered the screen. They gave us the main front booth right in front of the front doors. And they allowed me to do a couple of the important keynotes. I thought, I should bring some more friends. Wow. Your guys' meme coin is not in competition with my other project because that's on Solana or Sheeb, which is on Ethereum. So I thought it'd be nice to sit down with you for a moment and just share a little combo. You and I just met when you arrived in San Francisco because you had to run up to Canada to go renew your passport.
Yeah.
I had to run over to San Francisco to renew mine. I didn't realize mine was done.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. What has the experience been like for you in 4 ways? And I want to take this one at a time. Okay. So I describe humanity and individual people like you and I having 4 parts, at least 3, but for some 4 parts of our experience as a human. There's our body that interacts with the world. There's our mind that interacts with ourselves. Right. There's our soul that interacts with another. Like you and I, our souls are interacting with each other.
It's weird, but yeah.
And then for some, if not all, is our spirit that interacts with the creator. That some believe there are many gods, some believe there are one God. A lot of faiths all share the same God. Muslims, Jews, Christians, Father Abraham had many sons. Right. Many sons had Father Abraham. And then, of course, Jesus of Nazareth, Christ, called this creator Daddy, Abba in that language. So kind of this thought of a benevolent father. So what I'd like to just start off in is your body. It is challenging to fly 15 hours here. It is challenging to be 15 hours ahead of your normal rhythms and schedule. It is challenging to be in a booth where thousands and thousands of people are walking by that we don't know every hour. Amazing opportunities, but we'll get to how we think and how we feel in a moment. Right now, just body.
Just the body.
Like, what's it been like for your body the last 3 days to come here? And what can other people that maybe are watching this and they're getting ready to fly to New York for NFT NYC, or they're getting ready to fly to Singapore for Token 2049, or whatever their next big thing is, how do you care for your body? Because you seem somebody that's very thoughtful about taking care of your body, so that the potential negative impacts are lower than maybe they would be if you were not watching what you were eating and how you were pursuing sleep and using, different things. So let's talk a bit about the body impact making the trip.
Yeah, that's a really great question. Very exciting. On top of my mind, like I prepared as much as I could, and it's on my second day, and I'm ready for a nap, you know.
I was ready for a nap when I woke up and had breakfast. I woke up like I'm energized, and then I had breakfast. I'm like, I am ready for a nap.
Yeah, but you know, honestly, like just being around with people that really like engaged you too, and I brought my whole medicine cabinet, like my whole full bag, all the stuff prepared for in case cold, if you have sore throat, of course you need energy. So I had a like very traumatic experience with my body a couple years ago, and like almost died, like infection, everything.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. My face
Tell me
was like,
about that. And
yeah,
show me
not
pictures.
at all.
Do you want to put that picture up on the big screen?
Oh man,
Okay.
I don't know if it's yeah.
It's pretty.
If you want it. So man, I just really need to dial it down and like prioritize my body, because I love the rush, the work, and like serving people. Like my tendencies to is like people pleasing a little bit. So like, okay, I just need to recalibrate and what's my body is saying, and plus, Lord just really gifted me biology, like interest in biology, like learning English back in the days, like a little tough a challenge.
Because you grew up in Seoul, Korea for the first like 12 years or so.
Yeah, yeah. So when I came to Canada, I didn't even know alphabets. So I had to learn everything. And but biology was the only class that I could like memorize. So that's how I really like memorized word by word, and only thing that I excelled in high school. And but then I began to find fascinating the reality of body and how chemistry and biology works. And okay, so Lord just opened up a whole new world, and just kind of starting taking my body, and just meeting really cool people. They're like out there in their medical world.
Yeah.
Like wow, and some of them are not even have like a degree in a say, where the world really like requires to have a degree, but they are so far out with the Lord, and the Lord gives them download. And just really cool to interact with those people, and they have those secrets and keys that the Lord shares with them through their own trials and sufferings and their own antidote and experience. They have a breakthrough. So I got to like really meet with them. One example would be like someone with a severe eczema issues, and the skin issues. So meeting with the man there really like saved my skin, literally. So yeah, it's just been a wild journey with my body being here. I take a lot of vitamin C, because that's fighting the flu. But yeah, just really important, I think.
Tell me a bit about your mind. 15 hours in a plane, your mind can spin. Your biological clock is off. Maybe what normally is pretty easy to manage your mind, it's easy to become self-critical.
Yeah.
It's easy to become self-worshiping. So it's easy to do both.
Yeah.
Even in the same day. You can tear yourself down, build yourself up.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how do you manage your mind in general? What have you learned from Christ in terms of how to manage your mind? And how have you applied that to yourself? And where are you at on the journey of self-discovery, self-awareness, managing your mental health, and ensuring that you don't make yourself arrogant and cocky and inflated and, you know, praise yourself and tell yourself you're a superhero, but also that you don't tear yourself down and make yourself feel like a loser or broken or a worm or unlovable. And so how are you managing the part of you that is in relationship to yourself? Because the part that nobody else gets to see, right? Like there's not some sort of special technology that throws your and my thoughts up on the screen and shows the whole world how we think how we hate ourselves or love ourselves. So how are you managing your mind? And since you're part of Christ as King, what have you learned from Jesus and Jesus's followers around managing your mental health?
Wow. Yeah. Big question, but very important. And I'm still on a journey. I just, when I think about it, especially like even this last couple of days, the traveling, and my health is not where I used to be, but I feel like I'm more grounded with the Lord more than ever, because I just come to realize that it's not about who I am or what I've done anymore. It's about who Christ is, and just coming to realization of what He has done on the cross, and coming to the really end of myself, because that's a sobering moment for me. Like I cannot do things I used to do when I was a little bit younger. The strength is not there, and it's like, wow, this is what really humanity is. Like I came to really like experience that. The more I live, the more I need Christ. The more I need to give Him thanks and be thankful to the community around me. Because you go through with life, people come and go, and you go disappointment and pain and suffering. And I come to realize, how do I respond to that? And how do I respond to the cross? And how do I be real in the moment of suffering and pain? And I don't want to like to spiritualize everything, because I have to be honest with myself. And it's a challenge. I haven't figured it out all yet. I make mistakes, and I feel from that place, the Lord really like comes in as a brother, as a father too. It's really interesting. He has different hats wearing to meet at, and just I'll watch him like say if I'm watching a show sometimes, because I'm like kind of love the stories and parables. So he speaks in that my heart, and that really like translate into my mind, because I tend to like get analytical, because I learned 2 languages, so it's weird like how my mind kind of processes. God translates into the spiritual language, like the heart language. So I mean, I have my brothers too with the CIK. I'm a good friend, Curtis' brother. Like he's been really good.
Well, that brings us to our soul, right? So tell me about, what is your soul experienced here in the last day and a half at the booth that maybe you were not expecting, right? Like, so maybe you came here expecting, we're going to promote our tokenized community, the base meme coin CIK at a blockchain event.
Yeah.
And our friend Ian that invited us understands us. So we have freedom to be faith oriented. We're gonna make some stickers, some shirts, we're gonna give some tokens away. So like maybe that's your expectation, right? But then you come here and you interact with hundreds of Filipinos, maybe 1,000 by the time the end of today happens, because this line just never ends. Like the line just goes forever.
Forever, yeah.
Like literally, the line around our booth just never ends, and we just keep giving rad stuff away all day long.
Never seen anything like it.
Yeah, we're giving like almost 2 dozen iPhones away. It's incredible.
That's wild.
And I don't know, it ended up being like $20,000 in tokens, and we're doing a lot of cool stuff for the community here on purpose.
Yeah.
Soul. What did your soul experience so far that you weren't expecting? Because I remember like yesterday at this booth, and I'm giving stickers out, but I'm also like speaking words of encouragement over people.
Yeah.
I'm encouraging people's souls.
Yeah.
I'm intuitively picking up on things, and I'm calling out people's destiny. Like that's a soul thing. So tell me a bit about what your soul has experienced here that maybe was a surprise to you.
Yeah. I feel just genuinely grateful to be here. I feel such a contentment, and just seeing people interacting with each other, and I feel like I belong. That's what I like my soul is telling me, and this is like what I was born. Even though there's so many people, I'm more like introvert, but I can like be social too when it needs to be.
Right.
But like the soul was just happy, and there was this one interaction with this man and Christ is King, and we're just chatting a little bit, giving a giveaways.
Right.
And I was asking, "How are you doing?" Good. And he just started sharing about his life and my family. Is good, but my friend is in the hospital, and I'm like, man, like he just shared that with me, like to a stranger. So, hey, is there anything I can like encourage you to do or pray for you today? To like, yeah, just pray for me. So, like we pray for each other, and I just really felt the presence of Lord, just really like came to our prayer. And even though we didn't know each other, but we are brothers in Christ, and he left encouraged. And I feel like that soul moment for me that was there. Like I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
There's like so many hundreds of people going back and forth trying to give away, but yeah, I think that was really like connection and soul wise. And I was not expecting it by doing a giving away like that. Yeah. So I don't know if that answers the question, but
Yeah.
that was just special. Yeah.
Finally, your spirit. You know, the point of us interacting with who Jesus called Daddy, this benevolent Father, at least that's my impression of it, which has a lot to do with my father and how he taught me about the unseen, mysterious Creator.
Yeah.
The point of, like, the letter that was written to the Thessalonians, it says, a man's purpose is to be content, thankful, grateful, and talk to God all the time. So what is contentment? Contentment is, I'm okay with me. I'm at peace with me. Gratitude and thankfulness is, I don't take credit for my contentment. And for me, I didn't give myself breath. I didn't give myself eyes, ears, a mouth, a heart. Like, I express a grateful heart, a thankful heart to whoever has brought this. And to talk to God all the time is like to always be tuned into that radio channel.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't matter if you and I are having a conversation,
Yeah.
or if you're reading a book, or if you're watching a movie. Like, always have your spiritual antenna up, so you're always kind of like checking in with this benevolent Father.
Yeah.
So another thing I've heard about a man's or woman's in life would be that a human is satisfied in their relationship with God, and that a human finds pleasure in their relationship with God. So if either or both of those things, along with many other things, are true, if a human is most fulfilled when they are content with their life in that moment, thankful and grateful in that moment, always in communication, finding pleasure, like, if that's the truth, none of those things are about having a spirit so that we are motivated to evangelize or convert people. None of that's about going to church.
Yeah.
None of that's about reading sacred scriptures. None of that's about donating to charities and being a philanthropist. None of that's about listening to certain music or not listening to certain music, or not saying certain words or saying certain words. Like, none of that is about these things that religion has kind of made things about.
Right.
So if our spirit is about being connected to this benevolent Father, and the point of that is to be content, thankful, grateful, always communicating and finding great pleasure in that relationship, how do you perceive that Christ the King, Jesus of Nazareth, the Jewish Messiah, whether accepted by the Jews or not, At least that's what he claimed. That's what was on the cross.
Yeah.
So that's what the Romans did, kind of rub it in the Jews' face. What have you learned in your journey so far about what it is to have a healthy spirit? Not you in relationship with me and others.
Yeah.
Not you in relationship with yourself. Not you in relationship with the earth. But you in relationship with this unseen, unknown, mysterious, supernatural creator we call God, Yahweh, Holy Spirit, whatever, Holy Ghost, Spirit of Truth, dude with the long hair and the nice beard, talking about Jesus, everybody.
Yeah.
So, what have you learned about that, and how do you feel like this Project Christ is King kind of ties in to that spiritual paradigm?
Wow. That's a really great question. It's super deep too. I love it. And yeah, while you asked me that question, I was just thinking, you know, the way the Father interacts with me is like a child. Um, and somehow, like in this crazy world of chaos, bile and hustle, I came from like a really broken identity, not knowing who I am, like not really knowing about my entire family, and they have lied to my entire life. Like I didn't know they were my parents, and like finding out that when I was 19 years old and being in a English Canada foreign country, so I had to do a lot of searching, soul searching, and just through people that I met during the journey. I went to Christian private school because I was in a group with Korean community and I was failing my grades, and it's just reality hit me. I'm just kind of laying down context a little bit. I asked my mom, "You gotta send me somewhere so I can study in this country." So they sent me a little country town Christian community, like 600 people from kindergarten to high school. There's maybe like one Korean, so it's like a perfect environment for me to study English, focus on like math, all that, and that's where really I encountered the Lord. Just use dancing, praising the Lord, and I didn't know that you could dance in church setting. Well, like I came back from a religious background, the hymns, and it was super boring to me. But then when I found about the Lord could have fun and dance before presence of the Lord, that's when my spirit came alive. Because the book of Psalms talked about come before the presence of the Lord with thankfulness and thanksgiving and with praise. Like, wow. And that's the best I can describe to my relationship with the Father and the Spirit. This pure, unfiltered, like not shameful, not guilty joy. It doesn't make sense. It's like almost like peace that surpasses understanding. So, and I chased that. But it was like such a roller coaster, high and lows, because I want to experience Father. It's hard all the time, but it doesn't in a life. It doesn't. He's always there, but I don't feel like I don't experience it all the time. So I always feel like, is there something wrong with me? So the way I find myself to really feel spiritually connected with the Lord, it's just being alone with Him, maybe reading a Bible, but like learning to soak in his presence, just do not absolutely nothing. And even like surrounding, hanging out with my brothers and sisters, that comes like super joyful and supercharged, and that's how I like. It's community, right?
Yeah.
So, and I know you kind of the first day you shared about. It's interesting. You said, what's the phrase that Chris Valentin said about to find your destiny, you're gonna find your tribe.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I went to Bethel, because the previous year my sister passed away due to cancer.
Wow.
And I just felt like I need to shift my life because I don't want people to experience what my sister went through. And I knew about Bethel, and the next following year I got accepted and went there with my buddy, and there I found 3 years later I finally found my community, my tribe, which is Brother Curtis and whole crew, Regina, and it's just been, it hasn't been the easiest, but it's been an incredible journey. And one of the things that Pastor Bill Johnson from Redding, California Church says about, it really impacted me. If you want to find your passion, your dream, go serve someone. Something along the line of that. I kind of butchered it, the line, but the way he just said it really impacted me. And it really stuck with me. And I love Brother Curtis. And when I saw him on Facebook Live, there's something on this man I just felt like anointed. I saw the anointing, and I have to meet this man. And it was during COVID. Everything shut down. There's like revival tent, shout out there, and I saw him. Oh, hey, that's the guy. And so we met there, and ever since then, we just started traveling and ministering together, and it just happened. I just said yes to the Lord, and then I took a step of faith, and the leaders in the community, and they gave amazing advice, and that really stuck with me. And I followed that, and the work came to pass. And I don't know how exactly it will happen, but there's something about honoring the elders and their wisdom, and I really believe that the Lord is really about the generation coming together.
Yeah.
So it really tied with the destiny.
Yeah.
Where he talked about spiritual and Christ is King. Not knowing who I am, searching, and something tragic happened in my family, and I had to shift around. Honestly, it was just like a wild ride. I don't know what I'm doing, but I just felt the joy in Redding, California there that I saw. So I have to go there because that's how I relate to the Father. And from there, I found my tribe.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'm super like simple guy.
Yeah.
What you see, it is what I am. How you see. How does the phrase go? I don't know how to say it. Like I am what I am, like based on what kind of you see. That's kind of phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, kind of like, but there's like a little bit of dimension there because I'm Korean too.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's just the grace of God and His Spirit, His joy, dancing, singing, and serving Him.
I want to try something.
Yeah.
So when you come stand up right about here, maybe back here. Why don't you stand back there? So these cameras can get you, but stand up back here.
Okay.
And go that way a little bit. Yeah. And then
good?
Gail, and then look at the camera. So they can hear you. The camera can hear you just fine. So what I want you to do is I want you to show the live stream. I don't know what we have on here. We have 100. There you go. We have 186 people online. Back up. We're live.
Oh, I thought you were done.
Back up. We have 180. Back up all the way out of the camera. We have 186 people live. So one of the things that you talked about that happened, and you can scoot the couch a little bit so you can be right in the middle. There you go. There you go. All right. A little bit more. So one of the things that you talked about that happened is you were here and you were praying for people, prophesying for people. You don't know them.
No idea.
So we didn't capture that. So I think one of the things that's I want to invite you to do is to do that for somebody you don't know, but maybe you've heard a little bit about. So my wife, Riza, is a Filipina. I believe that she's watching live right now. And I'd like you to bless Riza because it's so sad that she's not with me because I need her. But also, I want you to just show people watching live or that see this later, what does it mean to prophesy over somebody? What does it mean to call out their destiny? How can that be done courageously and with bravery, even if you don't know somebody? Like you've never been with her, you've been on calls with her, you just heard me and Malik maybe talk about her. So I just want you to scoot over back so you can see, okay, right about there. Look at the camera. And I just want you to take a moment to connect with my wife over the internet around the other side of the earth. It is 10:18 p.m., so she's probably still awake on Tuesday night. And I want you to I want you to bless her, obviously, because I'm selfish and I want you to bless my wife.
Wow.
But I also want you to show people what is it to do this. So I'm going to step out of the camera and just let you have as much time as you want to take.
Okay. Wow. Well, thank you, Ian. I feel really honored to. Oh. Thank you, Father. I just want to invite the presence of the Lord first. Come, Holy Spirit. Thank you, God. I love you. You're so good. Yeah. Hi, Riza. I don't know. We never met, but I just feel like just be in the moment with you. I'm just so grateful that you're here with us. And yeah, I just want to like sit in the presence of the Lord with you. I'm not sure why, but that's all I want to do with you at the moment. I know we're supposed to give out word, but I just strongly feel in my heart that the Lord just want to sit in the silence with you in the midst of all the voices and all the noises. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thank you that all you've done. Yeah, Riza, I hear a verse from the Bible that says, "Wait upon the Lord, and then you soar like an eagle." I just see strength rise within your heart. And just streams is dripping. One drip after another. Lord, I pray for Riza right now that your face shine upon her. Give her the best dream tonight. Dreams and visions. Yeah. The sweet dreams. So, bless you. Yeah, I just want to encourage you with that. So, bless you. Thanks for sitting with me. I know there's not a lot of word, but I feel like that's what the Holy Spirit is sharing with you. Just be with your woman. So, yeah.
I want you to stay here. We're going to cross over Malachi.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, this is Malachi. He's Ian's son, and very special person. And so Alex and I are going to take a moment to pray and to prophesy over you and to call out your destiny in front of people live. But more importantly, it's really in front of heaven. So all we're doing, for people that don't understand what prophecy is we tune ourselves into the voice of God. And we hear what God has to say over you, not what the world has to say, but what God has to say. And we call out the gold and the life and the calling that He's placed within you from your birth. He knew you. He knitted you in your mother's womb. He crafted you for a purpose. And so Alex and I are going to tune into that purpose. And a lot of times the whole point of this, it's not to like, sometimes it's kind of wild and you get words of knowledge and it's really cool for people to experience that. But what we're doing is we're breathing life on something that God already put in there. We're watering something that God's already placed in you. And it's for you to hear and then you hold on to that. So just helping to explain for people on there. Alex, if you want to start, I'm just going to pray a little bit.
Yeah. Lord, I thank you for our brother Malachi. We come before your presence with grateful and thankfulness. And he's so amazing. The moment I met you, there's this great light shining upon you, brother. And it cannot be stopped. And from the coming day forth, it's just going to shine brighter and brighter. And I just feel honored standing before your presence because you are you make people feel like they're champions. You have a heart of gold. So Lord, before we dive in, I just want to thank his golden heart. Yeah. Thank you for his courageous heart. Thank you for his brilliant mind. Thank you for his brave spirit that you set him apart. So we invite you, Holy Spirit, to envelop around his heart.
I'm very careful when I'm asked by the Lord to speak over somebody. I don't take it lightly. I think it's an honor to interact with God and to speak over somebody, but I actually feel like your destiny is very meaningful and powerful. And I feel like I'm in the presence
of royalty. There's something very special on your life, Malachi, and part of that is what your dad is steward, and I know you understand that, and I know you know that, but you have a completely separate destiny. Your dad is being used and tasked by God right now to empower you, to form you, and to craft you into who you're going to be. But I see more of a Barnabas call on your life. I feel like you're going to be somebody to walk with others, to guide others, to sharpen others. You're going to be used for high discernment decisions. God is going to place you in critical situations where he's going to be entrusting you to speak life into people, to discern situations, to guide and direct people which way to go. There's going to be an attack over you of telling you to be silent or that you don't have a space. The world doesn't get to decide that for you. God decides that for you. He is making a way in a space. There's going to be moments when you're going to be called to speak. I mean, high level moments with leaders and like I see like politicians. Like I'm talking like I think this morning we used a term like diplomat or ambassador. And I think at an earthly form, I think that's true. I know that's true from a heavenly form, but I actually think from an earthly form that it's true. You're going to be in rooms. I think at first you're going to see this like technology path. You're going to follow your dad down this technology path. And this may seem completely left field, but I actually think God's going to pull you into government. Well, I see you dictating policies. And the reason is because of the high level of discernment that God has placed over your life, that you will make decisions that will be the betterment of man and those around you. And so I thank you, God, for what's on Malachi's life. I thank you that I got the opportunity to pray over him and to prophesy over him. And it's an honor as I get to see how you're being formed and crafted at 16 years old. It is amazing what you're already doing for the kingdom of God. So, Lord, I just ask that you continue to build identity and confidence in this man. That he pulls himself apart from the herd, that he stands out. He knows who he is in Christ. That he's solid in who he is. That he's not swayed by the world. That he stays pure and righteous and is a beacon of light to others. That he stays kind and gentle and humble. That he is a sovereign servant leader for you, Lord. I say this all in Jesus' mighty name.
Yeah, Malachi. As Curtis was praying, I heard one more word. In your secret place, you're seeking out wisdom. I see you. I see you. The wisdom of the Holy Spirit is going to be your best friend this season. It's like the wisdom of the Solomon the Lord has given in the book of Old Testament. But this is like a upgraded version. No one has ever seen. And it's pure. And it's operating out of the fruit of the Spirit. Not fruit of the good and knowledge and evil, but fruit of the Holy Spirit. It's good. I see the Holy Spirit, the dove, landing on your shoulder. And you know, dove, they are kind of finicky creatures. They don't trust easily. But like the brother Kati said, the purity is a safe place for the dove to land on. As you seek his presence, his heart, the wisdom is going to shine upon your face. And thank you for being such an amazing son to receive that. And I learn from you. We learn from you. You're an amazing, man. Thank you for letting us pray for you.
Guys,
Thank you, everybody. We're going to go to a break really quickly, and we love you all, and thank you so much.
To tokenize a community is to ensure that you use decentralization to make this community thrive now and into the future.
I've been so happy. I'm so glad to be here. I can't wait for this event. It's going to be amazing.
If you spin yourself out on just tech talk, then you lose what actually matters. And what really matters is our purpose. Let's not get so technical that we get away from humanity. The humanity side of us, right? The part that makes us want to eat and go to sleep and find a mate and go have fun and laugh and cry and run. And that part, the primal part.
I'm really honored to be here, and like you said, the energy is really wild. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
Go find a community that needs a heart and go feel for them. Go find a community that needs a brain and go think for them. Find your people. Find your purpose.
If you follow this process, if you follow the disciplines necessary for you to be able to just do what you're doing day in, day out, by the end of the month, end of the year, hopefully you'll get the same result.
This is not a keynote where I just give you the answers. This is a keynote where I try to get you to spark the ideas in your own mind. AI will be the key for us because AI is going to make our NFT project more successful and more vibrant, and they'll run Discord, they'll run Telegram, and they'll do this stuff. We don't even need people anymore. AI is going to do our meme thing, right? They're going to help us scale and sustain forever. No struggles, no hardship, right? Because nobody's involved. It's just AI that does it all.